Hey, what's up? It's your girl Rajanae. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to click that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any other videos on my channel. And don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. That will also be in the description down below. Today's video is gonna be, it's pretty important to me because well, it should be important to anybody, really. The fact that it's only like for a month, even though it should be like an everyday thing, like people should be taking care of themselves more every single day. And I get emotional every single time I talk about this topic, so I'm just hoping that I don't cry during this video. But today I wanted to talk about just the mental health awareness month. I feel like this is so important, and I just wanted to do this video because I was gonna plan out kind of what I was going to say, and I kind of did that, but at the same time I want to make sure that when I'm talking from the heart and I'm letting it flow instead of me planning every single thing. So I'm gonna try my best, but don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for me. This means a lot. Thank you so much. Let's get to the video. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that conspiracy theory where the Winnie the Pooh characters all have mental health disorders, or they have mental illnesses. I have my notes right here as well, saying that Pooh basically has an eating disorder, which I think that is obvious. So if you didn't notice that, I don't know, like what. Piglet with generalized anxiety disorder. I feel you, baby. Eeyore, depression. I feel you. Tigger, ADHD. Rabbit had OCD. Owl was dyslexic and narcissistic. Kanga, social anxiety disorder. Rue, autism. And Christopher Robin, schizophrenic. And what's so crazy is that I never really paid attention to that type of stuff, you know, watching that show as a little girl. But I think now that I kind of realize, and it kind of makes sense, like, I just feel like you look at them differently. Piglet, Piglet was also, or he was always my favorite, not just because he was pink, but because I just felt like he was just so cute and so innocent and just so pure. And it's something you just wanted to give him like a big hug, just seeing how scared and worried he was all the time about every single thing. And it was like, I loved him. I just loved him so much. And now that I've been to therapy before and know like my diagnosis, I now just feel like I relate to him so much better, because him and Eeyore, and maybe even Kanga, I relate to the most because I actually deal with those same things, to be honest. But so I just want to talk about what I've been seeing on social media like these past couple of days. I've been seeing a lot of like suicidal type posts, or like people that have committed suicide, or, you know, someone posting on Twitter that this person's last post on Instagram was this was the whole caption. Can somebody look for this person? Da 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 da. And it's just, it breaks my heart, like it truly does, to see things like that, and to know that those people felt that was like the best route for them. Like they felt that was the only way to solve their issues, to solve their problems, and just kind of leave everyone else behind and, you know, harm themselves that way and take them out like that. And it really does hurt me. Like I get emotional hearing things like that, because life can be tough, let me tell you. I feel like it's tough for everyone, but it makes me so sad to know that they just felt like that was their only way out, and they couldn't go to anybody else to really confide in, or to talk to, or even to vent to. I recently lost a friend a couple of months ago, like in February. I wasn't really close to him like that, just because my mom had met my stepdad. I had moved to this new country, or this new area, and I was the new girl, you know, so I really didn't like know people. It was kind of hard for me to make friends, and he was one of the people that I had went to school with at the time. And in the beginning, it was like I had a little crush on him and everything, but it kind of like simmered down a little bit, like the more we got into middle school and whatnot. But yeah, he passed recently, and to this day I still don't know the reason or how it happened, but the way that people were talking kind of made it seem like it was maybe suicide. I really hope it wasn't, but I even got emotional then because it's just crazy. Like, it's just sad to think that, you know, people feel like they just don't have anyone to go to, or like, and I feel like there's two parts to this. So when it comes to talking to people, let me just start with the go-to. I feel like when people commit suicide, or, you know, when they take their life, I'll put it that way because I don't like saying that. When they take their life, I feel like it's so sad because you hear a lot of people talk about, you know, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe this happened. Like, I can't believe you're gone. Like, I wish you would have talked to me, da 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 da. And it's so sad because, I don't know, I just don't know if people are really serious about mental health or not. Like, if they're really taking it serious or not. Sometimes, and I just want to be honest, sometimes I feel like people say that I wish you could have came to me, I could have been there for you, you could have talked to me about anything. But sometimes I feel like, are you sure about that? Like, I'm not questioning anybody's character, but sometimes I feel like people say, you know, you can come and talk to me, but then it's like when they try to, you don't ever take them serious. I feel like, especially like in the Black community, because sometimes I see that a lot with mental health and things of that nature. I just feel like the Black community always seems like they're the ones that don't take it as serious. Not saying that there's not people in the Black community that don't, but I feel like there's some that don't take it serious. But I feel like there's some that don't take it serious, you know what I mean? Like, they usually think that it's a joke, or that you're messing around, or you're trying to like you're the boy that cried wolf type situation, where you're just trying to get attention, but really it's because something is really wrong, you know? And I feel like I wish people would take that more serious, especially if it is coming from your daughter or your son or a nephew or a cousin, an auntie, an uncle, mom, father. You know, I wish that people would take it more seriously and not think that it's a joke or that somebody's lying or playing around, because you never know what's going on through these people's minds and what's sitting on their heart so heavy, you know? And I feel like sometimes people always say that they're the go-to person that you can come to, and really you're not. It's hard to tell because this person is gone already, so you really can't question them as to why they didn't. But I feel like you kind of have to ask yourself, like, why is it that they didn't go to you? Why is it that they didn't talk to you? And it's not to, again, question your character, because you could have been the person that they could go to. You would have tried to help them or save them in any way. And I know you can't save everyone, and I know that I tried to, and it's hard to do because I feel like not everybody wants to be saved, you know what I mean? But it's just like, you could have been the person that could have been there for them or to help them. But sometimes it's like you got to question yourself as, why did they not come to you? Is it because you're too judgmental? Is it because you're very strong when it comes to criticism, or they feel like you were just going to make fun of them and think that it was a joke and laugh, you know? And that's kind of like a hard pill to swallow, because I feel like sometimes people don't ask themselves those questions and not realize that you have to reflect on yourself and think about, what kind of person am I? Like, when I'm usually a friend and we sit down and talk, you know, am I a person that judges you? Am I a person that criticizes you? Am I always making jokes? Am I always not, you know, serious and not taking you serious? And that's a reason why you feel like you couldn't come to me. You feel like you couldn't break your walls down and get vulnerable enough to come to me and talk to me about something so heavy or so serious on your mind. Because I feel like once a person takes their life, that's it. Like, there's just like no going back, you know what I mean? You can't get that person back, you know? So you want to hold on to these people as close as you can and as long as you can, and be that support system for them. I just wanted to touch on that though, because I feel like sometimes, I know I'm that kind of person too. Like, you know, I tell people, you know, hey, you can talk to me whenever you want, if there's anything going on, like, I'm here for you. And I feel like I am that person, but I sometimes feel like, but when it's me, sometimes I honestly feel like people don't offer that same service, if that makes sense. At the same time, it's like, I definitely understand, because I'm gonna get to myself in a little bit, okay? I'm gonna talk about myself in a little bit. But the other part that I want to discuss, not just people talking about they're the go-to person, but also the person that's having these thoughts and having such a hard time coming to people. I want you to know that, and me too, I'm talking about me too, there are people that love you. There are people that care about you, that want you to be here on this earth. They want your presence around. Don't ever feel like there's no one there to talk to, you know what I mean? Like, there's always got to be like that one person that you can trust. And it's hard to trust people these days, I know, but there's got to be like that one person that you can trust and that you can be vulnerable with, and know that if you were to break down in any way, whether it was in tears or out of anger, that they would be able to understand you. I feel like at the end of the day, that's all people want. I feel like that's what everybody wants, but I feel like with people who deal with mental illnesses, including myself, because I even have a hard time being vulnerable and talking to people when things are going on in my head. They just want someone that they can go to, but that go-to person has to be willing to listen and not judge and criticize all the time. Just be there and like let your presence be felt, so they know that there's somebody that cares and actually wants to listen to them, whether you sympathize or you understand or not. It's just like your presence actually matters. Yeah, like when you're having thoughts like that, always know that there is somebody around that you can trust, that will listen to you and be there for you and to comfort you when you need it. You got to be willing, do you know what I mean, to heal yourself and better yourself, and don't ever feel like you're a burden. I feel like that's another reason why maybe these fallen angels don't talk to anyone, maybe because they feel like they don't want to put a burden on these people and make them have to worry about you and every second of the day type of thing. Like, maybe you just didn't want to burden anybody, but I promise that if that person truly cared about you and if they wanted you to be here on this earth and they want you to be around and you matter in their life, that you wouldn't be a burden. What real friends are for, that's what real family is for. No matter who it is that you go to, they're there for you for a reason. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. Let's talk about me a little bit. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't cry, because that would be embarrassing. I didn't go to therapy until like a couple years ago, back in EP. I feel like I have always dealt with like feelings like this, that there was a lot of moments that when I was younger, I would just break down crying by myself in the bathroom or in my room or things of that nature. And sometimes I didn't even know the reason as to why I was breaking down so much. Other times I did know why. It was because I was having a hard time growing and a hard time realizing that if there's things that that I want in life, it's just not going to come easy. I had to be the one to break out of my shell and not let fear hold me back a lot of times. And I think that I was slow to realizing that. I always felt that being on social media a lot, which I was on social media so much, I just felt like that didn't help at all. I'm looking at all these different people and seeing like their life and them living their dreams and things of that nature, and wishing that was me, and always just kind of feeling like that could never be me, I guess. Like, that was just hard to reach, or it was impossible. And at the same time, even now, I'm visualizing, or I'm trying to visualize the young woman that I'm wanting to become, and knowing that I'm not there yet. But I was really having a hard time with that when I was younger, and I never came out and said anything about it, because I guess I always thought that I could handle it myself, that I could figure it out on my own, and like I said, I was young then, so I really didn't know what I was going through and what was happening. Then college came around, and I had this class. It was human sexuality class. And yeah, you do talk about, the growing up, the dudes do, You also talk about pregnancy, because that's also a part of it. That's a huge part of it. You also talk about different STDs and things that you can catch if you're very careless and you're not careful with who you're, intimate with. And it also talks about love, not just love romantically, but love within yourself, And there were times where we would answer questions online, and you would have to submit it. There were some questions that you could submit and people would know who the answers were coming from because your name would be there. Or you would answer questions anonymously so that nobody knew who the answers were coming from. You had the freedom to speak your mind, speak what was coming from your heart, and be vulnerable and know that there was nobody else. Like, nobody else would know that it was you that felt that way or you've been through certain things. It would only be the professor. And there was a question or like a statement or like questions that stood out to me. And it was kind of asking like, do you love yourself? Yes or no? If you do, what do you love about yourself? And if you don't, why not? And I cried. I cried so hard, like in my room. And for some reason, I felt this urge to answer this question. I felt this urge to be vulnerable and to be honest with myself. And when I read another person's response to this, again, it was anonymous. They were talking about how they went to therapy. And for the longest, I never, considered therapy. I always thought it'd be so weird, or maybe like it'd be stupid for me to go to therapy for the reasons that I knew like what would be wrong, or what was wrong with me. But I just felt like that'd be stupid to go to therapy to talk about things like that and like this is the problem. But they mentioned that they went to therapy, and I kind of took a little bit to think about it, if I really wanted to try it or not and see, because my sister done it as well, but it took me a while. And then when I told my mom, I'm considering it, she said okay and things like that. So when I went to therapy, it was more so about just my low self-esteem and like my lack of confidence in myself and me not loving myself. And that's when she gave me my diagnosis. And like I said, Piglet, Eeyore, Roo, or Kanga. That was basically my diagnosis. Not Kanga exactly, but actually I feel like that fits. That goes together. Anyways, but you know. A little bit more added on to it. I think it was more like environmental disorder. I'll put it there when I figure it out. But when I found out, it was just so crazy because at the time, again in college, I was doing a whole research paper on phobias. I don't know why, but I feel like that interested me. And this whole time I was doing this research on phobias, it also mentioned, different things like anxiety or like depression or like PTSD or just, different mental health illnesses and stuff like that. But I wasn't paying attention to it because I didn't feel like it applied to me. Not realizing that when I actually saw a therapist that those things, it did apply to me. And I just didn't even know. Like I wasn't even aware of it, or maybe I wasn't trying to bring awareness to it. Every day, I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I know there are times that I wish I was. But I know that nobody is, going back to, these posts and these things that I've been seeing about people, taking their life. I just want to say, before I get to more lighthearted things, just know that there is people that do care about you and they love you, whether you think there is or not. There is, okay? I care as well. Trust me, my heart weighs heavy so much hearing things like this. And just know that, I'm here for you as well. Like, we are all here for each other. Anybody watching this video, we are here for each other. Trust me, I'm not perfect either. I'm clearly stating it. I'm one of those people that I feel like I don't like being vulnerable. I think it's really hard for me to do that and to come out and like really talk to people, have a whole sit down, because I feel like I know that in a matter of 2 seconds I'm gonna start crying because I'm still a person who's still healing and trying to become a better version of myself, and I'm not there yet. So a lot of times that pain is still there, and I cry so easily, and I feel like talking to someone and just being vulnerable and having to like let my walls down and let them see me cry is just, I feel so embarrassing, and I feel like I feel like I'm weak at the same time, you know. And I remember my therapist telling me that I'm not weak, you know, like it's an emotion, it's a feeling, like you're supposed to cry, you know what I mean? Like you're not a robot, you know, like that doesn't mean, or doesn't show, that's not a sign of weakness, but it's strength, you know. I feel like a lot of people think that being sensitive and crying and things of that nature is you being weak, but I don't think that people realize that it's the opposite, you know. I feel like you have people these days that are a lot more careless than caring, and I feel like people should care more than being careless and being a person that feels like my emotions don't matter, so I shouldn't show it, etc., etc., you know. I feel like a lot of people should do more of that than trying to hide it and be like this macho person all the time and thinking that that's not normal. What's not normal is you not being aware of your emotions. But I have a hard time, trust me. I also don't like being vulnerable and crying in front of a person because I don't want to hear somebody's sympathy, like their pity, you know. I feel like that makes me cry even more. It's like, no. Like, I feel like I push people away, and that definitely is a problem. But there have been times where I talked to her about things. Maybe not everything. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but sometimes I go to my sister. Sometimes I go to my mom, you know. Even my little brother sometimes hears certain things, and I educate him as the best way that I can. But yeah, you know, I go to my mom, my sister sometimes. I tell my stepdad, him maybe not so much, as I feel like me and my mom talk about those things more than anything, but he's also gave me some great advice and things of that nature. Please don't try to harm yourself in any way or feel that leaving this earth is the easiest way. There's so many people that care about you and love you and would be sad knowing that you feel like that was your option, you know what I mean? That you feel like that's a choice. Don't get me wrong, like I've had moments where I've had dark thoughts as well and negative thoughts. Maybe not necessarily suicidal so much, or in a more detailed, if that makes sense. But I mean, I've had thoughts of more like, and this was even after, a little bit after I was done with therapy, where I didn't have thoughts like that, but you know, I've had thoughts like, you know, if I wasn't here, would people care about me? Would people love me? Would people miss me? And I recently told my mom that because I was telling her about what I was seeing on these social medias, and all this stuff about, you know, taking themselves out and leaving this earth. And I even told my mom that recently. I was actually kind of scared telling her that thought kind of comes, not all the time, but it comes, you know, sometimes. It came after I was done with my therapy. And my mom, you know, was being honest and was being open about things that she's felt when she was younger and thoughts that she's had. And it was nice to kind of have that talk with her, to know that we relate. You know what I mean? So I'm not the only one, you know. This life is hard for everyone. It really is. But I don't want you to think that that's your only option. I promise you, you know, life is beautiful. And I know that I'm still a work in progress. We are all still a work in progress. So I know that what I'm saying is probably going to go in one ear and out the other, but we are in this together. Trust me, just because I always have this bubbly, ecstatic personality doesn't mean that I don't have moments where like I'm fed up and I want to quit and give up, and have negative thoughts that come to me as well, because they most definitely do. But don't ever feel like you're alone. Trust me, everybody's going through something. There's just people that don't speak about it, you know. There's people that try to hide it on social media and everything else, but they go through things. Don't let them fool you, okay? There's people that love you and care about you. I'm saying that over and over because it's true. You deserve to be on this earth. You matter. You have a talent, a gift that I don't want you to let that go to waste just because you feel that life is hard and life is throwing things at you and you feel like you just can't take that type of pressure no more. It's either life is going to throw stuff at you and you're either going to duck or you're going to catch. Not get hit constantly and just feel like I'm going to just stay down and not come back up and then that's the end, you know? No. Life is not easy. It's really not. Anything in this life is not easy, and it's not going to come to you easy. But just like my stepdad said, like, you are stronger than your mental illnesses, whichever one that it may be. You are stronger than that. I promise you that if you trained your mind for so long, and this is what I tell myself, if you trained your mind so long to be negative and to say rude things to yourself, you can train your mind to be positive, to say more loving things to yourself, more caring things to yourself, until you actually believe them. I mean, self-love and, and confidence and just mental health is not something that comes easy. But it's a journey, but you'll make it. I promise. Like, there have been people who go through the same things that we go through in a day, but they've been successful. And that will be you. You just got to believe in yourself. You got to be willing to put in the work and to get better as a person. Again, life is hard and it can throw things at you and it can be tough, but life is also beautiful. You got to think about the things that you could do, things that you could be excited for, you know? For me, sometimes, you know what, we're going to get into that. Let's talk about things that I do, maybe books that I read, books that I work on, pages that I follow, you know, that help me and that I do on my journey, even though I'm still on this journey. So let's get to it. Let's start with working out. I love to work out. There was a point in time where I didn't like working out. Anytime my stepdad tried to, I was like, oh my gosh, like, stop. Please, like, this is not for me. Like, you're doing too much. No. Ever since, how do I say this? Ever since, you know, the pandemic started. Yeah, so ever since the pandemic started, like, and I felt like, well, what do I do now? Like, I've always been so busy working. Like, it's like I had to try to find myself again and like figure out like what were things or hobbies that I was wanting to do or wanting to try that can like keep me busy, you know? And working out was one of them. Like, I was literally working out every single day, and to this day I still do that. I mean, I have days where I miss a day or two, you know what I mean? But then I'm like, I gotta get back into it. And I hear that working out is great for anxiety, great for depression, because you're releasing certain endorphins and it gives you a chance to be distracted for once and not sit in your thoughts all the time and let them swallow you. Like, I swear, like, when you're in a depressed mode and you just have constantly dark thoughts, you know, and you just kind of sit there and just let it consume you, you know, it's literally the worst. Like, I've been there, and the thing is like, me talking about this, I'm surprised that I haven't cried like I thought I was going to. But for me, like, I can't be sad for too long, so I always got to pick myself back up any chance that I get. And I hope that this video does the same for you. But working out is always great. I know it may not be everybody's favorite, but I promise, if it means bettering your mood and working on your physical health and working on your brain activity, I feel like you should definitely make that an option, because it will help. Even if it's you just walking around the neighborhood for 30 minutes, even if it's you just doing an exercise for 10 minutes, I feel like you'll feel so much better. Trust me. Workbooks. Love me a good workbook. Like, sometimes there are certain workbooks that I like just because it's coming from different doctors or different people who study like psychology or just mental health or counseling and things of that nature, and they just have certain ways of asking you questions or certain ways for you to answer certain things that makes you dig just a little deeper, maybe so deep that you didn't see yourself going that deep. Okay, but I feel like it also helps. Just the visual aesthetics as well helps so much. So I'm going to show you 2 workbooks that I have that I feel has, you know, helped me dig a little deeper as well. So the first one, this one actually isn't mine, it's my sister's. Mine is somewhere in the garage closet deep in the archives. I actually never finished it, but it's the self-love workbook, a life-changing guide to boost self-esteem, recognize your worth, and find genuine happiness. And so it's this book right here. Screenshot it if you need to. Got this from Barnes and Nobles. Y'all know Barnes and Nobles is my store, low key, okay? But yeah, I got this from Barnes and Nobles. It's kind of hard to explain why this one is great. So let me just pick out a page that my sister has not done so I can like show you. Oh, like this. This one's simple, easy. I feel like everybody should know how to do something like this. This is the getting to know you pages. So this is more so under the self exploration page. So it says take some time to get to know you. Ask yourself the following questions in order to delve a little bit deeper into your self-learning process, because I feel like that's important. Get to know yourself. Okay, so you have this right here. That's just an example of a page. So it just asks like, what am I ashamed of? Who do I love? What are my strengths? What I like to do for fun? I always feel like it's good to do something like that and to get to know yourself. I feel like a lot of people take that for granted and feel like that doesn't matter, but it helps a lot, especially like if you're trying to become a better version of yourself and eventually involve yourself with a romantic partner. You want to be able to know who you are as an individual, your strengths and your weaknesses, your self-worth, your core values, your morals, things of that nature, just so they don't be surprised as to, not in the sense of being, how do I say that? Like, they're not surprised of like who you are, you know what I mean? Like, they'll be surprised in a good way, but not in a bad way where it's like you're not trying to heal yourself or trying to get better and you're like throwing your baggage onto somebody else. And it's not to say that that person couldn't love you or support you or be there for you and have your back because you want somebody like that, but just being like a work in progress, you know what I mean? Like, get to know who you are so you don't have to take certain things. I did talk about that in the book as well, boundaries. The next workbook that I want to recommend, and this one is actually mine. This one is mine. I'm still working on it, as you can see the little paper right there. This is also a self-love workbook because y'all know, gotta work on loving myself. That's the main point, the main objective. We all gotta do it. We all gotta love ourselves, okay? This is the self-love workbook for women. Release self-doubt, build self-compassion, and embrace who you are. So it looks like this. I also got this from Barnes and Nobles, so pick this up. I promise you, whichever one, doesn't matter. I think that they're both really good to start off with. This one, I feel like anybody could get this one just because this one says for women. And I also want to clarify that mental health is not something that picks and chooses who it wants, you know what I mean? Like, it could be women, men, kids, doesn't matter. Okay, like, mental health doesn't discriminate, all right? So I also want to talk about men with mental health as well, because men go through things as well. We can't just sit there and ignore men and act like they don't go through things, they don't feel certain things, they don't have certain thoughts, Men, I'm talking to you too, okay? Mental health is important, especially for my Black men out there. We need you here, okay? We need you on this earth. Don't be trying to leave. That goes for everybody, okay? Don't be trying to, okay? You matter, I promise you. You matter, but mental health for men as well, it's important, okay? I have love for every single one of y'all. It's important. You matter too. So yeah, I recommend any one of these, but for women as well, if you want to get this one, you can. If I could be honest, let me show one. It's like on page 11 if you do decide to get this book. This is the self-assessment. Where are you in your self-love journey? Let me tell you, it's like it's giving you like certain statements and you have to rate it from like 0 to 5, 0 being never, 5 being always. And it asks certain statements like, I believe I am worthy and deserving of love. I believe I have a purpose for living. I am accepting and loving of my body just the way it is. And that's not all of them, because I believe there's like 10 statements, but I promise you that made me cry. That made me cry because, and I know I'm sensitive, I'm owning it, it is what it is, but it made me cry because I feel like if you're gonna do things like this, in case therapy is not your thing or you don't want to do therapy, and I know we all get stubborn, that one made me cry just because I feel like if therapy is not your thing or you don't want to go to therapy, and I know we all get stubborn, y'all get stubborn, you do what works for you, go at your own pace, but if you don't want to do that, workbooks are great. If you're gonna do a workbook, you need to be honest with yourself. Like, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be more aware of yourself, and don't be afraid to get vulnerable, because honestly, it's just you in the book. Yeah. When you're doing workbooks, just make sure that you're being honest with yourself and you're being aware, because at the end of the day, it's just you in this book. So there's no need for you not to be vulnerable. Take the time to let your walls down so you can figure out what is wrong and how you're going to better yourself, because we're trying to better ourselves this year, okay? We are not trying to let this depression and anxiety and everything else linger. That's not what we're doing, okay? So when you do these workbooks, make sure that you're being honest with yourself, that you're being loving towards yourself. It's a journey. I promise you, nobody's perfect. Don't let them fool you, okay? Another thing that helps, again, this might not be for everyone, but therapy. Like I said, there was a point in time where I thought therapy was going to be crazy and ridiculous. But when I actually talked to my therapist, she said there was nothing wrong with that. Like, everybody needs help, you know? Everybody needs to talk to somebody, you know? Don't be afraid to go to therapy, though. I know it's weird sometimes because you're talking to a stranger and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I gotta get deep. I gotta get deep about my problems. Like, I gotta tell you this. Like, I don't even know you. But sometimes that might help, though. Like, honestly, like, I just talked about it earlier, where some people, you know, they leave this earth not telling even their family, why can't I talk? They leave this earth without even talking to their family members about what was wrong with them, what was hurting them in the inside, you know what I mean? So maybe talking to a stranger helps sometimes. Like, trust me, like, don't feel bad. I'm just thinking about it now, where, like, they're a therapist. I'm sure they've heard so many things in their life from their clients that you thinking that yours is the worst. Like, their job is to listen, to help you, to solve your problems, to get you to become a better version of yourself. So don't ever feel like your problems are not valid. You are valid, my love, okay? So if therapy is your thing and if you're considering it, you know, go ahead, go to therapy. I hear this is not sponsored in any way, by the way. Anything that I'm saying or recommended in here is not sponsored. Not that anybody is, but I mean, if you want. I heard the app BetterHelp. I hear certain, like, YouTubers recommend that app. I personally have never used it, because there are times, I'm not gonna lie, where I even question, do I need to see a therapist again, you know, or am I good? I don't know. Right now I'm doing these self-love workbooks. I'm doing I'm gonna mention that next, but I'm doing different things. It takes time, okay? You know, just take time working on yourself. You know, I think sometimes we forget to do that with being on social media all the time and, like, being so busy with work and everything else, that we don't take the time to really, like, take care of ourselves and our mental health. So that's a thing. But I heard BetterHelp is a really great app. Let me know in the comments down below if you use it or if you have used it. You could be helping me out as well, because who knows? I've considered it a bit. Like, sometimes I get very doubtful if I should go to therapy again or not. But let me know if BetterHelp is a really good app or not. I may consider it. Next, you could write poetry, songs, journaling, your diary. I actually do all four. Is that four? I actually do all of them. Poetry, maybe not as much as my songwriting. Songwriting helps me also get out my feelings and my thoughts more in a more creative way. That's why my dream has always been wanting to do music and wanting to sing, because I always felt like I didn't have nothing to share. But I feel like I share myself a little bit more. I share a bit of myself in my music. You guys may hear it one day. Who knows? I pray that you do. I manifest that, okay? I've done journaling before. Journaling helps. I usually find journaling prompts on Pinterest. Let me know if you want me to post any journaling prompts for you guys, if you want them. I feel like they're very important as well. I feel like they also help, because sometimes we just don't know where to start when it comes to these prompts and how to, like, dig deep within ourselves and figure out, like, you know, what's wrong. So journaling prompts help. And diaries. People might sleep on diaries, but I feel like that also helps. And I have one a lot. I usually don't write in my diary unless the emotions that I feel are very intense and I'm crying. That's usually a lot of times when I write in my diary. Other than that, my music, whenever I get creativity, that's when I write. No social media. That's hard. I know, in this day and age, because I know that's what makes people money sometimes. But sometimes social media can be really hard. I think that a lot of times the things that we see on there we take serious, including myself. Again, I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. I think that we take a lot of things on social media so serious that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and not even realize it. That we're trying to put pressure on ourselves to be perfect and to have this lifestyle that other people may have. Sometimes you just need a break from social media. You really do. You need that break for like a couple of weeks, a month, however you need to do it. You just need a break sometimes. I think that, again, that pressure comes with us seeing other people's lives and feeling like we're not doing what they're doing, or our success is not coming as fast as somebody else's, without realizing that we don't really know that person's story, and we don't know what that person has prayed for. If they prayed to have the life that they do live now, you don't know what they had to go through. Like, you're just seeing the success part, but you didn't see the behind the scenes part before the success. Like, everything, the roadblocks and everything that they had to cross and jump over just to get to the success. I'm pretty sure there were times where they cried and got angry and wanted to give up, maybe even had those dark thoughts that I've been mentioning this whole time in this video. You don't know that, but they had to keep pushing themselves. And I feel like at the end of the day, that can be you as well, if you keep pushing yourself, if you keep believing in yourself and believing that you deserve great things in life, because every single one of us do, but we all have to apply it to our life. I think that's really what makes a difference. Social media, sometimes stay off of it just for a little while. Okay, you need a break sometimes. You really do. You need a break mentally from social media, because I promise you, it can take a toll on you if you allow it. But if you are going to be on social media, it matters who you follow. I have a couple of Instagram accounts that I follow that talk about mental health as well. I'll make sure to put pictures here. Self-Love Rainbow is it's so cute. I love that page. Shout out to her. I know she has different workbooks and calendars and planners and different like worksheets. You guys need to go follow her page, seriously, because maybe it's just me, but it's like aesthetically pleasing to see, like all the different colors and the different images. I just feel like it's so cute. I have yet to get a planner or a workbook from her yet, but I hope to get one soon, because it looks so cute. But at the same time, it's mental health, so there's different topics that you can choose from depending on what you're going through, but all of those counts are very good as well. I have my mental health highlights on my page as well, so don't forget to follow me, because I share a lot of their stuff as well. I think that's it for now, guys. This video is literally almost 50 minutes. I don't know if I let out every single thing that I wanted to say, but I hope that I got my point across. I hope that this reaches out to somebody, at least. I hope I helped somebody, even if I helped you this much. I mean, that still matters. That still will make me happy, knowing that you watched this video and you got something from this. Just a little something. Yeah, that's the end of today's video. I hope that you guys liked it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, all of it, okay? Don't forget to take care of yourself. I love you. I do. Don't forget that. You are loved. You are important. You deserve to be here on this earth to share your gifts and your talents, because you never know who it can reach out to. You never know who you can inspire. This life is beautiful, I promise. There's so many things that you could look forward to that can excite you and to take your mind off of things if your mind tends to go down certain roads. But I just wanted to say you do matter and you're important. And this is coming from Rajane, okay? So don't let anyone tell you different, because Rajane said so, okay? But again, guys, peace out. I love you. Mental Health Awareness Month, and every day. Let's get it.